I hear voices. About 18 years ago, I started hearing voices, and I hear them every day. Most of the 18 years, I hear them all day long. I have nightmares every night. I've had so many weird psychic experiences since I was a child, dreams about aliens and UFOs, dreams about the World Trade Center disaster, all sorts of things. Hurricane Katrina was another one. So one day, I discovered that I always knew that it was external, but one day I said, I'm going to figure out a way to block them. And I created this. It's a hat that I wear. It's not designed to work with the microphone, and it does make the voices go away. And I'm not going to tell you how to design the hat, but what I'm going to tell you is how I figured it out. Because when you hear the story about how I figured it out, you're going to understand that what I'm saying is true. So the first thing that I discovered is that I woke up one day, I had a bump behind my ear. And that was when the voices started. And they start by saying hello, hello, hello. What they're doing when they say hello is they're tuning in to see if you respond because they don't know if you can hear them. So when you hear a voice say hello, ignore it and they will go away. They're nice to you when they're trying to get your attention, and then they're mean to you once they've got it locked in. So one day I was thinking, well, how does a person hear a voice? If there's an implant on your auditory canal, is it vibrating it? Is it sending like a data file or something? Is it causing the ear canal to vibrate? And I thought, well, if it's causing the ear canal to vibrate, maybe if I put an earplug in, the voices will go away. So I put the earplug in and half the voices went away. That's when I discovered there were two different types of voices. One of them says the same repetitive thing over and over again. Like it'll say, I'm Barbara, I'm Barbara, I'm Barbara, I'm Barbara. Barbara means foreign. I'm a foreigner. My family emigrated to the United States. I live outside of the United States right now. I grew up in the United States, in New York. Okay, so what the repeating stuff that you hear a million times continues. However, there were voices commenting on what I was doing. Like they would say, don't wear that shirt. Or they would say, you need to shave. Or I'm going to use the example, don't eat this. Those voices went away. The voices that were commenting on what I was doing in the day went away when I put an earplug in. But you can't wear an earplug all day long. It starts to hurt your ear. So what I do is sometimes the voices will start bothering me and I tell them go away. And then they'll insist. I say go away and they insist. That's when I put the earplug in. No matter how much they insist, it's never important. I would listen to music to get rid of the voices. But the problem is the voices were talking to me during the silent parts of the music, between the words, in the pauses. So this is what I did. I took 10 songs and combined them into one, and I'm going to play the song for you. Okay, so that's an example. It's like 3 minutes long. It loops over and over. Listen to it all day. The voices go away. It always works. They might bother me for the first 2 or 3 minutes or the first 5 minutes, but after a while, they go away and they shut up. That music was Chicago and ABBA, 10 different songs. But it started to impact my hearing. I don't hear as well in this ear now. Because what I would do is I would play it only in this ear and I would take the other side off. So one day I said, there's two aspects. Not only do you hear voices, but you have feelings. So the feelings are, you've got love, safety, guilt, knowledge, like, you have an epiphany. They're always negative. And I was feeling angry all the time, and the voices were accusing me of being an angry person. I said, I'm not an angry person. But I was feeling angry, and then I started figuring out how to block it, and I stopped being angry. Those feelings went away. And the feeling is not from within. When you love something, you feel it from within your body, but when it's fake, you only feel it on the surface. And when you love someone, you think, That's a person. I love that person. When it's fake, you feel love and there's no thought associated with it. You're like, why am I feeling love right now? Why am I feeling guilt right now? Why do I feel anger right now? So one day, okay, many years ago, I was driving on the highway and it used to be really strong. It's like a mild electric shock when it's really strong, when it first started happening. Now it's just an annoying buzzing. It's like someone is just constantly buzzing you with any type of buzzing device. And I was driving my car a long distance, and when I stopped, I realized that the buzzing started as soon as I stopped. While I was moving, the buzzing had stopped, and I didn't realize it. When I was driving around my local neighborhood, I never drive more than a mile, I didn't notice it starting and stopping. But going long distance, I did. So then I knew, it's funny, when I move, it stops. I didn't understand why. I fly a lot. I've been on like 200 or 300 planes in the past 10 years. Because when I fly, I got to go on 4 flights 4 times a year. I fly 32 flights a year. Go on a lot of flights. And I don't hear the voices when I'm flying, and I don't feel these feelings. Flying is actually a pretty cool experience considering I hear voices. It's a calm time in my life. The only time I really have peace and quiet is the second between being asleep and waking up. You're asleep, you wake up, that second that just elapsed is when I get peace and quiet in my day. So there's this buzzing. And it was because of the buzzing that I figured out how to design that hat, because I figured out how to block the buzzing. And when I figured out how to block the buzzing, I said, maybe these materials that block this buzzing will block the voices. And I was right. So I discovered that my hand, placing it over the buzzing, made the buzzing stop. Okay, so I had to re-record this a couple times because I didn't use the microphone earlier. I don't know if I told you, I used to get visions, and I discovered if I put my hand over here, it made the visions go away. And one day I was sick. I was lying in bed, and I just went like this because I would hear the voices. It's actually right here. I would hear the voices over here. So I was lying down over here, and the voices were blocked. For all day long, I didn't hear any voices. And I said, oh, that's weird, but I can't live my life with my hand over here. They absolutely come from an external source. Don't believe anyone who tells you it comes from within. That's absolutely not true. So, and I'm going to explain to you, if you hear voices and you get these feelings, I'm going to prove it to you. Because you can block them. Put your hand here, blocks the voice. You'll see. So I was lying down. I knew that my hand covering the position blocked the vibration. But I was lying down in bed, and you just assume you're lying down in bed. You assume it's coming from directly above you. So I raised my hand, and the buzzing started. I said, that's weird. Why does that happen? Why does putting my hand here stop it, but raising my hand doesn't? If you have a bucket that's leaking water and you move it around, the water is just going to keep flowing. It's not going to pause for a second because you moved it. So I'm lying in bed. And I knew one day I said, I'm tired of this crap. I'm getting tired of this buzzing. And I was lying in bed. No, I was sitting in the chair, and I went like this, and I just moved. And it took a couple of seconds for the buzzing to start up again. And then I moved again. And it took a couple of seconds for the buzzing to start. And then I moved again. And I kept doing this for 2 hours. So for 2 hours, I was evading this buzzing feeling. But I got tired, and I thought, well, how do you fix this? Maybe if I got a rocking chair or a swivel chair, or I would do things where I would just sit like this while I'm using the computer. Unless I need to do something accurate, I would sit and type. But then otherwise, I'm just going like this. I do the same thing when I'm in bed. And I was lying down in bed because, like I said, I was sick. And I moved. And it would take, like, let's say 5 seconds for the buzzing to start again. And then I moved again. It would take 5 seconds for the buzzings to start again. But then what I did was I moved in 2 directions. I moved to the side and then that way. And it took longer for the buzzing to start up. I said, that's weird. The distance is the same. Why moving in different directions would change something? And then I did this way, and up. I lifted my body up, and it took longer for the buzzing to start. I said, that's weird. The example with the bucket, why would it take longer? If you raise the bucket and move it around, why would it take longer? It's because something was tracking me. And I didn't realize it at the time. I had an idea that something was tracking me. So I was sitting in my chair, and I felt the buzzing, put my hand over it, and I was testing it. And I moved my hand, and it started up again, put my hand back, stopped. And then I said, if this is really tracking me, maybe it's coming from somewhere. And I started going like this with my hand. And I went up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And then bam, it blocked the feeling over here. The buzzing stopped. And then I moved my hand and it started up again. And then I put my hand back and it blocked it again. And I moved my hand and it started up again. It was coming from that direction. And I'm looking at a wall in my hotel room. And it happens when I'm outside, which means it's coming from outer space or it's invisible. So if you know somebody who's experiencing what they call a psychic attack, a buzzing, and you take your hand and you block the feeling, and you take a pencil and you point it in that direction, and you have a device that can measure, is it called inclination? You can pinpoint where in the sky it's coming from. And if you do it every night and it's the same place, is that geostationary? I think there's something out there that's causing this to happen to people. And you don't get hit by one, you get hit by more than one. One causes a feeling, another one causes a voice, which I will explain. So I said, I got to block this. I was putting my hand, using the computer, typing, but I can't keep my hand over here all day long. And I thought, well, what is a smart idea? Cell phone. Cell phone has a Wi-Fi signal. When the power is off, it doesn't do anything. But when I turned it on, the Wi-Fi signal prevented some of the buzzing. And it was very comfortable. I just jammed it in to my waist at the right spot, and it stopped part of the buzzing. After a couple days, I said, okay, it reduces it, but it's not a perfect solution. So then I tried different things. I was lying on my bed, feeling the buzzing, and I tried a pillow. There's a pillow right there. The pillow blocked it for like a second. It blocks it for like a second, and then it makes its way through. I put towels, I put clothes, blocks it for a couple seconds, starts up again. Never starts up again through my hand, but through the pillow it does. Then I took my luggage. You can see my luggage back in there in the corner and see how big it is. I put that on my stomach. It blocked the buzzing for like 10 or 15 seconds. Then it started up again. This is external. Why would a piece of luggage on my stomach stop me from feeling anger? People who hear voices are going to try this. With the hand, why is putting your hand over here? Well, maybe something in your hand. No. Why would a piece of luggage do it? Then I have like something I put my laptop in. It's a carry bag. And I filled it with computer cables. And I said, okay, I'm going to get all sorts of electronics because the cell phone did something. I got all my electronics gear, jammed it into a bag, put it on my stomach. All sorts of random space, random electronics. It actually blocked the feeling for a period of time, but after a while it started up again. It was actually a long time. I said, wow, I can make this work. When I put that bag on, I said, I'm going to figure out a way to make this work. So then I started testing different materials, things I had. I tested my laptop. I said, if the Wi-Fi from the cell phone can block it, maybe the electronics with the laptop with the power on can block it. I lied down on my stomach, put the laptop on, and it worked. It blocked it. You have to position it perfectly. So, but I can't sit here with my laptop on my stomach. Had to find another way. So I started testing different materials. One of them was water bottles, because I happen to have water bottles. If you look in the background, I keep everything right here. You see things like this. This is screening. It's got bubble wrap. It's got aluminum foil shoved in here. A raincoat. the first thing that I tried was hard drives. I had a box. I had a bunk bed at the time, and I pulled the box down. I had all my USB drives for my work. I keep back up all my data. Because I travel, I keep like 3 or 4 copies of everything, my only copy. And I take it with me everywhere I go. So the hard drives did nothing. And they were inside bubble wrap to keep them protected. And I put the bubble wrap, and I said, the bubble wrap stopped it. And not only did it stop it, it stopped it permanently. It didn't start up again. It's like bubble wrap. And then I had, this is not going to be an example. I buy sugar-free gum because I'm fat. I can't eat junk food, so I buy sugar-free gum. I saved a box, put it on, see what happened. It blocked it. It was a little box, empty box of mints. Didn't matter if it was metal or plastic. It blocked it. The device started moving around. I tried a bottle filled with water, didn't do anything. I tried it empty, and it did. I said, maybe it's because it's plastic, maybe it's because of the air gap, maybe because it's round. I tried a basketball. I took a basketball, put it over here, it blocked it. The basketball was, I think it was the basketball that was the first thing that effectively blocked it. I tried a tennis ball, and it wasn't able to do it. It kind of did, but it wasn't able to. I tried a computer mouse. Computer mouse did, but because the beam moves around, the energy beam, you have to keep moving the computer mouse. So what I discovered is that curved surfaces, because, I'm thinking here, if it's a beam and it hits a curved surface, part of the beam is going to pass through with more intensity. So it should block it. And that's the same with the aluminum screening, which I have right over here. I'm going to show it to you. Aluminum screening. The beam is going to be blocked by part of the metal, and it's going to pass through. So the beam is going to be weaker as it comes through. This works. It blocks voices. If you put it on your head, it will block voices. If you put it over where you're getting a psychic attack, a fake feeling, it will block it. Just so you know, I am working on a cap. This is a baseball hat that I'm going to wear when I go outside that's going to look normal. I'm going to shape this to the perfect shape of the cap. I have, I'm going to use aluminum foil, and I have, this is not it, this is duct tape. There is aluminum tape, which also blocks the voices. So that cap is going to look like a cap with aluminum tape on it, and it's going to block voices when I walk around outside. Okay, so I forgot where I was. I was talking about the shapes, air gaps. I discovered plastic. I wish I had. It's right there. I'm going to go get it so you know I'm telling the truth. This is my box with my hard drives in it. Hard drive does not block the energy beam. This does. Put it on your lap. Happy. And I sat here. So before I did this, I was taking those mint boxes and I was shoving them down my pants. I had to put it all over my back, all the way around. I had to cover everything around my body. And it would start to hit like right at my waist, any place, because this thing moves around. This saved me so many weeks of pain and suffering just by putting this, because this blocked that energy beam. Very effective. So I learned plastic did it. Something like cloth does not. Cloth does not work. I used to shove plastic bottles, not this size, the smaller size, but one on one side, one on the other side, or I would just take it and go like this, and my stomach is holding it in my waist. But it was uncomfortable, it would pop out, things like that. So that's not a solution. That plastic lid helped me a long time, but eventually it stopped working because the beam would change. The energy beam became weaker, but it would find its way in. So the plastic lid was being effective. So then I said bubble wrap. Let's try bubble wrap. And the bubble wrap, you can form it to the shape of your body, and it's comfortable, and you can walk around outside. So I started using the bubble wrap, fit around everything. The bubble wrap blocked a lot of this energy stuff, so I started wearing the bubble wrap all the time. So then one day, I noticed that the anger was gone. I was no longer angry all the time and guilty. I was like, they were making me angry. They're making me have headaches. I figured out how to block the headaches. So one day, this is a sheet of bubble wrap. I went and bought it. It cost me $1. And I'm going to show you what it's like when you get it. When you get it, it looks like this. It's actually like this. I unfolded it halfway. So the reason why I bought this is because I needed better coverage. What I had was very small. Just put it on your lap. And one day I was hearing the voice and I said, you know what? I figured out how to block these energy beams. And I felt, like I said, felt these energy beams coming up my body. And it feels like evil. When you feel it coming up, it feels like an evil energy coming through your body. It doesn't feel like love. And it would come up over here and it would go into my face and hit my eye, and it's nasty. So I was sitting there, I had this bubble wrap, and I said, what happens if I go like this? And that's it. I sat here playing video games, using the computer. And after like 2 or 3 hours, I was like, the voices haven't said anything. Since I put this bubble wrap on my head, I don't hear voices. I was like, I think this is going to work. I really think I'm on to something. This was at least 2 months ago. So I really believe I'm on to something. So I started keeping this near my computer. And I was sleeping with this on my head like this. The first night, beautiful night's sleep. Best night's sleep I had in like 18 years. But it's difficult to sleep with this because I'm always turning and stuff like that. It was difficult. So then one day I said, you know what? It's not practical for me to have this like this all the time. So what I did was I went like this, and that's it. And that was the beginning of the end for the voices. There you have it, bubble wrap hat. And I bought duct tape, and I taped it up. That was the beginning of the end. And after that, I was like, holy shit. All day long, voice is gone. And I was so happy. This, what I have on my head, is in here. That's why this is so puffy. It's a little difficult to do to tape it up. I taped it up a little bit, and then I pulled it off, and then I started finishing the tape. So it looked kind of like that. Maybe I cut some of it off. So I knew from practice that plastic blocked the vibration. Did I play the music? I don't know. In case I think I did. I played the music, didn't I? I made that music track like 2 or 3 years ago. It was really cool. So I made the hat. I bought a raincoat. It's green. And I just sat here, wore the raincoat, wore it when I was asleep. A lot of the buzzing stopped because it goes past my waist. So all those weird feelings stopped, and I would wear the hat, but it didn't really stop the voices. So what I did was I cut out the hood part, and I taped it to the inside of the bubble wrap. It was actually the last thing that I did. It wasn't in the correct order. This is aluminum foil. I literally wear this. Look at how this was perfectly flat the day that I put it on and taped it on. Look at how it's all ripped up and it's all crumpled. This is from usage. I'm really using this. The aluminum foil, I read on the internet, there's a video on YouTube where a guy said that aluminum foil blocks brain waves. And he said the NIA device he put aluminum foil on his head. He put the device to detect brainwaves, and he scanned it, and he showed that it really does block brainwaves. I said, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. I literally put aluminum foil on my head. I said, I think this is working. But the voices could have been tricking me. Who knows? I didn't test it that long. I didn't test it all day. I just tested it for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then I literally took it off and reshaped it. Or maybe because I got so much foil right here, very cheap here in a third world country. Probably paid $1 for it, for the roll. I taped it on, and this is where my ear is, where I hear most of the voices. I thought, if it's an energy beam, then an uneven surface is going to break up the beam. It's going to make it not be able to tune. So what I did was I crumpled up some foil, spread it open, which was very difficult, and then I put it over here and taped it over my ear, and I thought that it made a difference. So then I did some research, tinfoil hat. I said, you know what, I got to see if someone else has done this. And I found on the Wikipedia page, someone did some research like in the 1950s, where he said that a piece of wire mesh over the temporal lobe blocked voices. I said, okay. Went out and bought some aluminum screening. I only bought the minimum, which was 1 foot or 1 yard. 1 yard, 1 yard it must have been. And I didn't do a great job, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I know it looks stupid, but I need to improve it. It's getting frayed. It wasn't frayed when I first did it, and it looks like it's ripping over here. But this thing is saving my life. It gets rid of these evil voices. I don't care what it looks like. Like I said, I am building a better one. And I put this on, and the voices are a lot weaker. When you just do the bubble wrap, eventually they figure out a way in. Now the voices come at my face, or I feel it really low on my neck. I know this is what happens. But the rest of it, my head is pretty much safe. So what I had to do is I had to bring it down a little bit to cover more of the sides. And I found aluminum tape instead of duct tape. I don't know where the roll is. It's around here somewhere. So when I wear this, I sleep with this. I wear it when I'm using the computer. I just put it on. I have Velcro because I have a piece that covers over the face, which is this piece right here. This is bubble wrap folded, aluminum foil shoved in between with the screening taped. I extended it because I didn't make this wide enough to cover my eyes. I put Velcro so I can put it on like this, and I can't see because I think this is going to stop me from having all those nightmares. I can't confirm and say, yeah, it's a fact. I don't know. But I think it's having some impact, or maybe I've just done it wrong. I don't know. But I can breathe perfectly fine with this on. And I thought about using clear plastic so that I can protect my face while I'm working on the computer. The absolute fact is voices are external. They do not come from within somebody. This works. It blocks the voices. I wear this. Not only does it block the voices, I wear this for hours. When I take it off, I don't hear the voices. They'll be gone all day long. And then maybe after a day or two, I might start hearing them again. And there was one morning, like I said, I woke up and I would hear the voices. But the voices come from a direction. Just like you hear, you can say, I hear it coming from there, or you see something, you know that it's over there. The voices are the same. You see it here, you see it there, you hear it here. I started hearing it like right over here. I know it's weird, but when you're lying down, it's not impossible. I'll have to put something that covers my chin and not the back of my neck because that'll be on the pillow. But you know what? This is really good. And what else was I going to say? I'm going to try stronger materials. There's aluminum pans, like a cake pan, stronger material. I looked to see they're cheap to buy. They have lots of different sizes. I might need to get tin snips, but I'm going to finish the job. I might rebuild this from scratch so that it's more compact and looks good, and finish it so that it doesn't look so stupid. This blocks voices. So I'm going to tell you the other story. I had this theory. I said, okay, when I was blocking the vibrations and I figured out it was an energy beam, I said, you know what? I'm going to go swimming tomorrow. If I go under the water and the voices go away, that means that the water can block voices. Because I know that the voices are external, but I didn't know to what extent they were external. So what happens is that when I went under the water, 99% of the voices went away. But there was still something there. But it's like I said, remember when I said, I'm Barbara, I'm Barbara, I'm Barbara. There's something there. One of the voices says stop to me all the time. It says stop. It's always interrupting me, saying stop, stop, stop. And it doesn't frequently, so I cannot get a sentence out. And they used to impact my speech. This is the way it was when I first started hearing voices. Let's say I was going to explain something to you. It would be like this. Well, today I went to the. It was interrupting my speech. That's how good it was, and how it was so strong that my visions were so real that it was like my eye. Okay, it only happened twice, but it was literally the same as I see when my eyes are open. That's how clear it was. I was always lying down at the time because there are imperfections. Just as you have imperfections with dreams, all the visions have imperfections. Weird things happen. It's not a perfect experience. And only once did I hear a voice that sounded like a person was really in, no, twice. Once did I hear a voice that sounded like it was really a person in the room talking to me. So this is real. It really does work. I don't know where I'm going to go from here. I don't know if it's going to permanently block everything. I'm thinking about getting the thing you use when you sleep, the blindfold, to block your eyes, and put tin foil over it, and the screening, and maybe bubble wrap so that it more covers the eye. But we don't know if dreams are going into your eye or into the third eye. What I did was I took the aluminum tape and I put a triangle right over here, and I blocked this off. But because of my sweat, it only lasted for, like 2 hours, and then it just fell off. So those are some ideas that I'm going to do. When you have dreams and nightmares, it causes you to be tired all day long. On the days that I have dreams, strong dreams, I'm tired all day long. You don't get a good night's sleep. Dreams are not natural. If you have dreams, it's impacting your health. In terms of the drugs, I took risperidol and ketapina. Risperidol makes me feel like I'm going to die, because what it does is the voices require an energy within you, and the risperidol takes that energy away from you, which is unfortunately the energy you need to live. So you feel like you're dead. You feel like you're on death's door. So I never take it. I take a fraction of it when I go to sleep, and I have a good night's sleep. But the ketapina is what really made a difference. It made me sleep well, and it fixed my sleeping habit because the voices were waking me up every hour. There's so much that I could say. I want to, okay, headaches. Yesterday, I had a headache. And one thing that I noticed is that the headaches, I usually get it right here, usually occur when the voices start talking and in the same place that I perceive the voices to be. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put that helmet on and just lie down. And after 10 minutes, the headache went away. And if I hadn't done that, I would have had the headache all day long. They're causing me to have headaches. When I was sick that day and I was lying down with my hand there, it wasn't because of the voices. It was because I had a headache. I maybe what happened was my headache was so severe, that was my sickness. My headache was so severe, I was like, oh, I'm not going to use the computer. I'm just going to lie down. And I put my hand here, and the voices went away. And it was a quiet day, but I was lying down like this. When I sleep, I actually sleep like this. Just do it, put like this while you're lying sideways on the bed to block the visions. So spread this wide. Psychiatrists are in denial. They want you to believe the voices come from within. It's absolutely not true. I'm going to explain to you all the logical reasons why it's not true. Number one, voices are always negative. 99% of the time. Do you really believe that your subconscious is always negative? You're a happy person, but your subconscious is secretly negative? Just not true. Number two, the earplug example. Number three, the music. Okay, you could argue maybe the music blocks something internal. This device obviously proves it. Being under the water proves it. The other thing is the voices know the future. That's how they gain your trust. They come to you and say, we have information. We're smart, intelligent. We know your future. You want to listen to us. Everybody's going to say, yeah. So then they'll say, oh, go to the mall. Your friend's going to be there. He's going to be at the bookstore. You go to the mall at 3 o'clock and your friend's there. It's like, wow, they know the future. No, they don't know the future. They're reading everyone's mind on the planet. They know what everyone is thinking. So they know when your friend is going to be at the mall. And they tell you that's how they know the future. Ghosts are not real. They're images projected into people's minds. Dreams are not a part of your subconscious. They're projected into your mind, into your third eye. That's the reason why you usually don't hear, you don't smell anything during a dream. You rarely talk during a dream. It's being projected into your brain. The voices even admitted that to me 18 years ago. I asked them, the first thing I asked the voices, how is it that people have dreams? And they told me that dreams are brought to me every night. That's what they told me. Okay, so psychic experiences are all fake. Deja vu, fake. It's all technology. And people say, oh, that's not possible. Yes, it is. With a cell phone, you can call anybody in the world with this device. Their technology is better, and they can call you from further away. And they can send images just like this can. They just do a better job at it. They told me that the universe has already been conquered and that they are the dominant species and they want to keep it that way. They do not consider us to be equal to them. Just as it says in the Bible, it says that the fallen angel, was it Lucifer or whatever, or the devil, wanted to be equal to God, and that's why he was sent to earth. They do not want us to be equal to them. We are not welcome to be equal to them. All of our prophets and religions were created by them. They created all of this. They told me there's only one crazy person, only one person per family hears voices. And I know why. It's because no one will ever believe us. If there was another person in the family and you got two people in the family saying, I hear voices, then your family is going to start believing it. If it's one person among your friends, that's how they pick you. They find somebody who they pick the victim based on the fact that none of your friends hear voices, none of your family hears voices, nobody you work with, no one you will ever meet hears voices. You're the only one. So when you go and talk about it, everyone says you're lying, you're a fool, you're stupid, you're sick, you're crazy, you're mentally ill. That's why they do it. It's a select few. They do experiment with us. They told me, because you know the movie like Independence Day. Aliens come, they land flying saucers, they use our satellite system against us because they need to do that. The flying saucer is above the Empire State Building, it shoots a beam down, destroys it. This is what the aliens told me. They said, you know what we do? We fire a beam at the sun burns out, your planet dies. That's how we kill people. And the other thing they told me is, we don't have to fly to your planet. We can shut you off. We just zap your heart, zap your brain. You'll have a stroke. You'll have a heart attack. You'll be dead in 2 seconds. If they wanted to, they have the technology to do that. I asked them about, they told me that there's a cost involved with making someone hear voices, and that they call human beings commodities. They have human beings that they like George Clooney, Donald Trump, and everybody wants to be associated with them. But then there's the rest of us and nobody cares about. We're the victims. And there's a cost involved. So that means that once you're pegged, it's forever. They don't reverse it because they have some sort of investment that they don't want to lose. It's like buying a house. You don't buy a house and then not live there. So that's one of the other things that they said. They said that human beings are a threat, and I said, no, we are no threat to you. They said, well, someday you will be, and that's the reason why. And a lot of the things, like you read UFO literature, a lot of the things that is said in UFO literature that aliens say to humans, they say to me. People say they meet aliens, and the aliens, the most common thing they say is, we feel for you. I hear that all the time from these voices. We feel for you. We feel for you. Why are you torturing me? We feel for you. That's what they say. Very arrogant. Children hear voices. They tell them that their parents died in a car accident or to burn their house down, things like that. That's the type of thing that children hear. Don't you think that's a little weird? I know what it means. Dying in a car accident probably means that the parents are going to get a divorce or something like that. It's symbolism. Burn your house down. They don't want the child to literally set the house on fire. It's a metaphor. What they mean is, there's something about your personality that's wrong. You need to completely change it. That's basically what it means. If you go to a psychic, large numbers of psychics will say, light a candle. Light a candle. The candles are your chakras, your energy centers. Each one is associated with a different color. Roy G. Biv. Red is at the bottom, violet's at the top. So if they'll say, light a purple candle. When I heard that, I knew that they were talking about meditating on this chakra. But all these psychics talking about candles. Candles, what is lighting a candle going to do for you? Nothing. It's a metaphor. And they speak to humans like we're idiots. They do it to me all the time. They won't stop with the stupid metaphors. Like they'll say things like, go to school, you need to graduate. This is one of the things that they're always saying. When they say that, they mean that I need to learn something. They're always saying, you need to go back to high school. It's the same way that we speak with metaphors. Like, I'm going to hit the road is something that I say. The voices speak with figurative speech, with metaphors. They're never direct. They told me that there's a reason why. They said that if they speak factually, it's more of a command. Like if I say, drive down the street, turn right, I'm telling you what to do. You say, how do I get to Burger King? Well, you got to drive down the street, turn right. It's the same as me telling you what to do. And I guess they're worried that if they do that, you will really do it. Because I've had it happen to me before. I know it's going to be really stupid, but I was at a restaurant and they made me do this, and it scared the crap out of me. My eye went to one image, another image, and another image, and they were all three the same thing. And they were saying the words of what they were. They controlled my eyes. It was scary. They can do that to people. So they speak in metaphors, so it's not really controlling you, but they have the power to do it. I was driving once, and my arm suddenly went like that for no reason. The reason why they do it is because they wanted to show me that they had the ability to do it. They were making the point. I was driving down the road. There was a tractor trailer coming, and my arm just suddenly went like that. It just jumped. And what they were saying is, if we wanted to kill you, we could kill you. We could make you go like that and hit that truck. That's what they were telling me. They absolutely said that to me. They say it all the time. If we wanted to kill you, we could kill you. They're sick beings. They're the ones that are mentally ill. The psychiatric community is in denial about this. When I was a child, I'm 48 years old, grew up in the United States. When I was in school, if I went up to someone and said, do you think there are planets outside the solar system? They would laugh at me, especially girls. The girls would laugh at me all the time. Ha, ha, ha. There's trillions of stars in the Milky Way, and there's trillions of galaxies. And scientists have discovered at least 300 or 400 or more planets, meaning they know that those planets are orbiting stars. When I was a child, nobody believed that they existed. They thought that our solar system was the only one that had planets. And now they're saying Earth-like planets are common in the galaxy and in the universe infinite. And I researched, how does life start? You know how life starts? You need a protein surrounded by a cell wall. That's basically it. So if you have water, they call it primordial ooze. If you have water and it has a cell wall, a cell structure, and a protein gets inside of it somehow, life will form. I believe that is what happens. Research on the internet, that someone answered that question somewhere, said this is how life forms. We can do it in the lab. This is how it has to happen in nature. That can happen on other planets. We have oxygen. There was a time it was carbon dioxide, and there were life forms that only breathed carbon dioxide, and they created oxygen, and they killed themselves because of oxygen pollution. That literally happened in planet Earth in our history. So people, when I was younger, did not believe that planets existed outside of our solar system. They thought there were only 9 planets up to Pluto, and that's it. They were proven wrong. We now know that there's planets everywhere, scientific proof. We know that there are Earth-like planets. There's going to be life on other planets. We were not the first. The galaxy, we are not the oldest galaxy. We're one of the middle or younger galaxies, and we're in the middle of our galaxy, which means even in our own galaxy, there are planets that were created before ours. Stars are created from black holes. I believe that is it black holes that create stars? So there's something that creates a star, where stars shoot out from it. And then that star has planets form around it. And then some of them become habitable and form life. We were not the first. There's other life forms out there. They cannot, the distance of space is vast. It's easier to communicate through telepathics or something like a cell phone than it is to physically go somewhere over a long distance. That is why all of our relationship with these extraterrestrials is virtual. They have the technology to do it. There was a guy who wrote a novel in the 1950s. Maybe I read it somewhere where he said humanity will never explore the galaxy. It's not humanity's destiny to explore the universe. That was one thing that they said. I said, yeah, I absolutely believe that. Now I understand why. It's because it's already been done. They control the universe. The second thing that this novel said is that it was about aliens having a technology to make humans experience other lives. They have that. It's what causes us to hear voices, to dream, to see visions. I used to fall into trances. It happened to me twice. Before it happens to you, you don't know what it means. You just see a person there. What happens when you fall into a trance? It usually happens when you're lying down. You fall asleep, you go into a trance. When it's over, you wake up, you're in bed. But my trances ended with me getting into bed. So when I woke up, it was like, oh, I figured I was lying down all the time. But a trance literally is like being alive, but you're experiencing something completely different. That's fictional. Like in mine, I jumped really high over a chair and landed on the sofa. Imagine running, jumping over a chair, flipping through the air, landing on the sofa, hitting your head on the wood, perfectly safe. And then I opened my eyes. It's like, that was amazing. I was like, oh, I was asleep. That was fake. And there was another one where I was asleep and I woke up and I opened my eyes and there was a face in front of me, a hologram, and it was talking to me. It was saying some sort of a number. It was a number from a dating profile when I lived in New York City. And the reason why the number was important was because I met a lot of nice people. I met one of my first girlfriends. She was a very nice woman. And that number was my identity. That's how we got in touch with each other. It was just a code number on the profile. It was done on paper. And he was talking about this number. And I'm looking at this. I was like, wow, there's a hologram in front of me. And then you know what happened? I woke up. And I'm in bed. And I was like, holy shit. I was asleep. And it looked just like real life. They have the technology to do that. Just as was written in that novel, it's real. They talk to people. If you hear a song in your head, then you hear voices. That's what it is. And like I said, you start hearing a song, go look up the lyrics to the song on the internet, and you're going to be, oh, that's funny. I'm looking for a new job, and this song is about a guy looking for a job and about how it works out really well for him. Or, I met this girl, And I hear the song in my mind, and I looked up the lyrics, and the lyrics is about how this guy meets this girl, and she ends up being a horrible person. That's how they communicate with people. Nobody ever figures it out. I figured it out. I'm a smart person, you know? Hear music, I'm like, okay, what song is this? Looked up the lyrics. So, you know, it's funny. I was hearing 10 songs a day, 10 different songs a day. I did something. This was another test. I was walking my dog, and I said something to my dog. We walked back, had a dream that night that included what I said to my dog. Keep in mind, my dog heard me, which might have been how they got the recording, because they were obviously tracking my dog. I had a dream once from my dog's perspective, which was really weird. So I said, that's weird. Maybe in order for something to be in a dream, it has to be something that I say out loud. So I was lying in bed and I said, how do people have dreams? Why do people have dreams? Went to sleep, woke up the next day, forgot about it. I used to keep a dream log. Doing it on a tape recorder works better. Don't ever do it. It will make you hear voices. And the next day I had this, 2 nights later, I had a dream that said, dreams are delivered to you every night. And it showed a being. I was lying down, a being behind me holding an orb to my head. And I said, that was weird. And I made the connection, you know. So then I asked 22 questions out loud. I wrote the questions down on a piece of paper. This was at night. This was when I still thought the voices were nice. And I read all 22 questions out loud. That night I went to sleep. The next night, I had 22 dreams. I woke up, picked up my tape recorder, started dictating. Oh, I'm having a dream, I'm driving. They were all short dreams, like 30 seconds. I have a dream, I'm driving down the road, and I'm going too fast. We'll go to sleep. Oh, I had a dream I was eating a slice of pizza. Go to sleep. Oh, I had a dream I was talking to my mother. Go to sleep. Oh, I had a dream that I was eating chicken with French fries. And then I would listen to the tape a couple days later, write everything down. And I said, you know, I had 22 dreams that night. Wait a second, didn't I do something where I asked 22 questions? And I looked at each question and each dream. And the answer, each dream answered the questions in order. That's what happened. I've had 2 dreams at the same time. One on the left side, one on the right side. One was in 2D like we normally see, and one was 3D like 3D computer graphics, like a 3D video game. I had a dream once where we were driving in a car. I used to have visions while I was awake. I would dream while I was awake. I would stop sleeping, and I was recording into the tape recorder while I was dreaming. And I'm having this dream. So, oh, I see a car. We're driving in a car. There's 4 of us in the car. But I don't understand what's going on inside the car. And then the dream started over immediately. Oh, the dream started over. I'm driving in a car, and I see that we're inside the car, and we're having a discussion. And this guy is showing me something. It has some words written on it. And the dream continued. And I said, the dream changed in real time as I was recording it into my tape recorder. Once I started hearing the nasty voices and they were mean to me and feeling all these weird energies and they were all saying, I hate you. It was a lot about doing drugs. They kept saying your neighbor is doing drugs and they would point at the wall. My neighbor's not. Your neighbor means like your sibling. That's what it means, or your friend or your wife. And I didn't have a wife or anything like that. But that's what it means. And doing drugs doesn't necessarily mean doing drugs. It could just mean someone doing something recreationally and not serious or something like that. Okay, the voices told me now that it's referring to the fact that I was dating my girlfriend at the time and she wasn't serious about me. That's what they're telling me it was. So sometimes the voices are nice. That's an example. Be nice if they were like that all the time, but they're not. They were nice to me the first 3 days. If I didn't do what they said, they would get nasty. And their belief is anything goes. They're willing to do anything that I have to do what they say. They, like when I would drive down the road, they were angry I was driving on the left lane. They demanded that I drive on the right lane. Even though other people drive in the left lane, but I was prohibited from driving in the left lane. So eventually, over time, I started driving in the right lane because, you get older. The reason why is because they interfere with my thinking and your performance goes down. You can't think sharply. I said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I have to be more safe. It's very dangerous. The voices are nasty bastards. They will, a lot of the things that this, like if I say, I'm 45 years old, my friend Jonathan did something to hurt me. So, well, didn't you do the same thing? I said, when did I do that? When you were 4 years old, you took a cookie without asking. I was like, I was 4 years old. Well, Jonathan is like a 4-year-old because aliens are thousands of years old or millions of years old. So you're like a 4-year-old, and Jonathan's like a 4-year-old. So as a 4-year-old, what I do taking a cookie from someone as a child, not knowing the difference, is the same as him when he's 45 years old stealing $100 from me. To them, and we're talking about big dollar amounts. Someone stole $12,000 from me, and they say, "Oh well, didn't you do the same? You stole a cookie when you were 4 years old." They don't know any better that they're stealing 12,000. They don't realize that they're stealing. Child doesn't know that it's stealing a cookie. They don't think like that. But the logic from these aliens is so stupid. It's pathetic. They act really dumb sometimes for beings that are really intelligent. So now, the beings are very sadist. I'm going to talk about this a little bit. Imagine we have in our history, cavemen had to starve. They had to hunt their food, to find water, to find shelter, to hide from wild animals like dinosaurs or whatever. Obviously a lion or a bear would be the predators that they would have to hide from. I'm joking about the dinosaur, okay? Or maybe hide from other cavemen. We don't have to do those things, but we still have to work. Well, if you're an alien civilization, they probably don't work. They probably don't have to pay for anything. They probably have all their food provided for them. They probably don't go to school because they have an implant with something like the internet that tells them the answer to everything they need to know, whether they're knowledgeable about it or not. So like if they need to know something about advanced physics, they know the answer, even if they have no knowledge of advanced physics. These are people, they're like spoiled children. They've never had to work for anything in their life. They don't understand pain and suffering. Do you really believe that a civilization that has been evolved for thousands or tens of thousands or millions of years, that has the ability to do mind control over people, that they haven't worked out all those problems? These aliens have never experienced hardship. They do not feel for us. They told me, they outright told to me they don't care if I suffer or if I feel pain, because someday I'm going to die and I'll get over it. I don't, if they have the belief that in reincarnation, I don't know if reincarnation is real or not, because I don't know if we have a soul. There's something. We don't know what it is, but there's definitely something that makes us individual. Like we don't share feelings and thoughts with another body. We have some sort of individuality. So we don't know about past lives. I don't know if I had one or not. If I suffered miserably in a past life, you forget it. That's what the aliens believe. You're going to get over it. That's why they don't care if they torture you. The person you watching this video, you could have been tortured in past lives thousands of times and you would never realize it. They're doing it to us. I'm going to beg you, if you are someone who has the ability to tell others, this works. It seriously works. It blocks the voices. They come from outside of you. It is an alien extraterrestrial technology. I did not, as a 4-year-old, have a dream about aliens because I subconsciously saw it somewhere. That's just absolute nonsense from an arrogant, ignorant person. It's absolute nonsense. The first time I saw an alien image was when I was a teenager watching television during the summer off from school. I saw some aliens on TV, and the first thought in my mind, that's not what aliens look like. It's not what I see in my dreams. It wasn't until I saw Whiteley Strieber's book, Communion, I was walking through the grocery store, saw it, and I was like, that's what they look like. This stuff is real. This helmet works. We need to do this. You cannot understand how much people suffer from hearing voices unless you experience it. It is literally torture. It is the torture of a human being. I have been physically tortured. I have physical disabilities. My foot has a permanent injury because of these beings. I had a motorcycle accident. I could not walk for a year. They absolutely did it. They won't talk about it, but they did it. I know exactly what happened, what they said, how they did it. They talked about how they were going to do it. They did it. And they were very proud. It was one of the highlights of our communication. They said something very mean to me at the exact moment that I hit the pavement. I'm not going to say what they said, but what they said was really mean to me, very offensive. It was something like saying to somebody, so how do you feel? You know what I mean? Or that's how it feels like. That's what it feels like. They said something like that, but they put another word in there. They were trying to. I never made anybody feel that way, and never caused someone to have a permanent disability. I was bedridden for a year. I had to walk with crutches for like 7 years. My foot is still in pain. It's in pain right now. They could care less. Their philosophy is you're gonna get over it. They're not even listening. I seriously do not believe that they are actively listening because, like I said, if you ask the voice, so how was your day today? They can't answer. They are so intelligent, they know everything. But if I say to them, what's 112 times 6? They don't know the answer. I know it's 672. 112 times 6, 112 times 7. You'll never get that answer because the device, the implant, is not programmed to do it. 2 days later, after some AI or being looks at all of my thoughts and says, oh, yeah, that's the answer, tell them. That's what happens. They check once a day. And they come and go. They check real quick. Because you know how I know? Because they tell me. At the end of the day, they check in with me. Someone checks in. So, I'm checking in with you. Bye. And you ask the voices, tell me a story. They'll never tell you a story. Ask the voices ambiguous questions. The voice always says, I'm Barbara. I say, so what's your last name? You'll never get an answer. Like, you don't know the answer? What's your favorite color? You'll never get an answer. But if you say something like, oh, I'm going to write a letter, they're going to say, don't write that letter. And if you say why, they might not answer you. So the voices have a very limited vocabulary, and they are absolutely evil. They're very negative. Like you've seen the devil and the angel, that's what it is. It's the devil and the angel. There's in the Bible, the book of Job, where God sends the devil to torture Job until he curses God. That's what it is. Takes away his health, his wealth, his family, his friendship, until he curses God. And obviously what it means is cursing God is cursing yourself because you're God. You're in control of your own life, so you got to curse yourself. What does it mean to curse yourself? Not doing something you're addicted to. What am I addicted to? I use a computer all day. When I don't use a computer, I get upset. I get sad. You know what? I love using the computer. So many good things in my life have come out of using the computer. Absolutely. Well, you should go out and meet people. People don't want to meet me. People do not want to meet a 5'6" man who's fat. They don't. You say, oh, I have a friend who. No, you don't. You do not have a friend who wants to date a guy who's 5'6" or a guy who's fat. How tall is he? Was he under 5'9"? That's why I left the United States. Voices are evil. They don't care about humanity. They're real. They're external. They can be blocked. The psychiatric community is in denial about what's going on. They need to realize that this is real. So like I said, put the earplug in somebody's ear. Tell them to go swimming underwater. If they say, hey, yeah, something happened, put the bubble wrap on top of your head and say, yeah, it actually did quiet down. What I'm saying is true.